Jamie and Jason travel around the world, playing songs and drinking.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamie and Jason traveling around the world, playing songs and drinking. Today, we're at the beach. It doesn't look like the beach because the forest here comes right to the edge of the beach in a town called Formby. Formby.
You said that really ominously,
Formby.
Like bad things have happened here.
Bad things probably have happened here, but not today, they won't.
Today, it's plus 31 today, which is quite warm for the UK.
So we decided to come down to the beach, take a dip in the sea. Basically, you drive up the coast from Liverpool a little ways, and then you're there, Formby.
There it is.
So today, it's another edition of Canadian Classics. This is a thing we do where we feature a Canadian band that maybe people didn't know about growing up in this country, in the same way that growing up in Canada, we didn't really know about bands like the Stone Roses or Blur, even though they were really huge here. And when we got to this country, we discovered them and got to listen to all their music, and so we're kind of trying to do a bit of that for you, UK people. So today, our Canadian band that we're featuring is the Tragically Hip from Kingston, Ontario. They were formed back in the 80s. They were kind of started out as a college band. They were college guys. Their first two albums were kind of bluesy. During the 90s, they kind of moved away from that into a bit more rocky kind of sound. They had a long career, loads of gold and platinum albums in Canada, toured constantly, and plenty of number one hits on Canadian radio.
Unfortunately, whenever we talk about the Tragically Hip now, you have to do it with a hint of sadness because of how they ended. They were still touring. They had just released their 13th studio album when their lead singer, Gord Downie, got diagnosed with cancer. He had a brain tumor. So in 2016, in August, they played their final show in Kingston, Ontario, where they started, and it was broadcast by CBC. Almost 12 million people tuned in to watch it, including the Prime Minister.
One of the most powerful performances I've seen of the Tragically Hip on video is the encore from one of their final shows. And the emotion that Gord Downie's putting into the song, it's like he's screaming at it, saying, "No, it's not fair, it's not right." And then he starts to dance, and it's just an incredible moment. I'll be putting a link to that song in the description below. The song that we've decided to do from the Hip is actually the very first song that I ever learned by the Tragically. I was a teenager, and I learned this song, "New Orleans is Sinking." It's on their second album, which was called Up to Here, and it goes like this.
Yeah, I love this.
All right, so we've had to change locations because we got rained out of our last one, and we're forced to hightail it back to the car with all of our equipment.
This is Jason Moon hiding out from the rain. The weather forecast says there will be no rain until 8 p.m. tonight. It sure feels like rain.
Yeah, we got part way through the recording of the song, and then the rain started coming down. So that's okay, though, because we came back here to the flat where we can record the song here, and it allowed me to put on my shirt, my Jaws shirt, which is the same shirt that Gord Downie was wearing in the final Tragically Hip show. So there's that.
I found that shirt for you at a charity shop for
did.
£1.
Okay. New Orleans is Sinking. Well, blues on the scene, blues sing and bleed on the sky, so smoky blue-gray. I can't forsake the Dixie dead shake, so we dance the sidewalk clean. Where my memory is muddy was this river that I'm in. New Orleans sinking, man, I don't wanna swim. someone trying to stoke the fire, taking out the highlights of the scenery. Saw a little cloud looked a little like me. Had my hands in the river, my feet back up on the banks. I looked up to the Lord above. I said, hey man, thanks. Sometimes I feel so good I gotta scream. She said, hey baby, I know exactly what you mean. She said, I swear to God, she said, come now. Whoa, yeah. Memory is muddy waters, this river that I'm in. New Orleans is sinking, man, and I don't wanna swim. Swim, 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 yeah, alright. New Orleans is Sinking by the Tragically Hip. There's a link to it in the description below. Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode, this crazy mixed up episode of Jaime and Jason traveling around the world, playing songs, drinking, and getting rained on, man.
Getting rained on.
Jaime and Jason travel around the world, playing songs and drinking.